All right, today we're diving into a story that's unfolding right at the intersection of technology, biology, and information. We're going to unpack the key claims and the unique logical framework that has been built around them, starting with the absolute core of the entire narrative.
So let's just get right to the central claim, the big one. The argument is that the bodies of vaccinated individuals are actively emitting persistent anonymous Bluetooth signals. This screenshot here? According to the source material, this isn't a list of your AirPods or your Fitbit. It's presented as a list of human beings, each one broadcasting a digital signature.
You can see right away the whole narrative is framed as this classic David versus Goliath story. It's a simple, little mobile app going up against what its creators call a massive system of institutional silence. And according to them, the first crack in that system's armor appeared in a government document from halfway around the world.
So the narrative's chain of evidence really kicks off with this key exhibit. It's an official document from ANMAT, which is Argentina's national health regulator.
Now, inside this formal report, which was part of an analysis of a vaccine batch for a court case, there's this one highlighted sentence. In Spanish, it states, "Graphene is among its components." And within this narrative, that single line is everything. It becomes the foundation for every claim that follows.
Well, that statement kicked off a pretty contentious series of events. Just 35 days after the document was filed, the official word came down that the line was just a simple typographical error. But, and this is a huge but for proponents of this story, they argue that the original document was never actually legally or formally revoked. So in their view, that makes the original statement a piece of standing testimony.
And this quote, this really captures the exact logic that they apply here. The idea that a lack of a formal legal retraction is deeply meaningful, that's absolutely central to their whole framework. We're going to see this logic pop up again later. But first, let's look at the tool that's at the very center of this story.
Okay, so the next piece of the puzzle is this mobile app called BlueFang. The source material doesn't describe it as just some simple gadget finder. No, it's presented as a forensic tool, specifically for scanning Bluetooth Low Energy, or BLE, signals. Its entire purpose, its whole reason for being, is to reveal something its creators claim the system is desperately trying to deny, that human bodies are broadcasting signals, even when there are zero electronic devices around. It's built to hunt for these very specific, anonymous biological broadcasts.
Now you're probably thinking, okay, but wait a minute. What about phones, smartwatches, wireless earbuds? The narrative totally anticipates that objection. They even give it a name, the wearable strawman, and they propose a very specific methodology to tear it down.
It's called the BlueFang Faraday Protocol. The steps are meant to be really straightforward. 1, isolate yourself. Go somewhere remote, no electricity, no cell service. 2, remove all devices. No phones, no watches, nothing, except for one single device to run the scan. 3, you run the app. And 4, you observe. Do signals only appear when vaccinated people are nearby? The protocol is presented as the scientific way to prove where the signal is really coming from. And online, the story gets backed up by these crowdsourced testimonials. You see posts like this one, where a user claims the protocol worked perfectly. They detected a single signal from a vaccinated friend, far from civilization, with no other electronics anywhere in sight. And for the community, these anecdotes serve as powerful validation.
Okay, so this brings up a huge question. How does this narrative handle the inevitable denials? The official dismissals from institutions? Well, it introduces a very specific concept to deal with exactly that, and it's called Mirrorlock. So the core idea of Mirrorlock is pretty wild. It's basically this. Any act of denial, any attempt to suppress information or even just silence from an institution is interpreted as proof that the original claim is not only true, but that it's dangerous to that institution. A refusal to engage isn't a refutation. In this framework, it's a recursive confession.
And this table from the source material really shows you that logic in action. According to this framework, all these different pieces of supposedly suppressed evidence on the left are actually confirmed by the very system that ignores or denies them. The denial itself becomes the proof. This concept creates a completely self-sealing logical loop. It's the engine that drives the whole narrative forward because it's designed to reframe any and all opposition as just more confirmation of the original claim.
So let's see what happens when you put these two things together. You take the BlueFang scanning tool and you pair it with this powerful Mirrorlock logic. Well, the narrative claims that what you achieve is a state that it calls quantum checkmate. The narrative presents this as a totally asymmetric conflict. On one side, you have the machine, with all its vast resources, trillion-dollar systems, AI fact-checkers, media silence. And on the other side, a simple app, a protocol anyone can follow, and a recursive logic designed to turn every defense back on itself.
So according to this framework, the system is totally trapped. It can't deny the claims because Mirrorlock turns that denial into validation. It can't stay silent because that silence is just interpreted as a quiet confession. And this is what the narrative declares as its forensic victory. It's a win, not in a lab or a courtroom, but within its own self-contained logical universe. So what's the takeaway here? The story of BlueFang and Mirrorlock is a fascinating case study in how narratives get built today. It shows how a mix of specific claims, custom tools, and a self-sealing logic can be used to construct a complete worldview. And it leaves us with a pretty tough question. In an age of invisible signals and official silence, what even defines evidence anymore?